Zigbee technology. Zigbee technology is a wireless communication standard that defines set of protocols for using low data rate, short to medium range wireless networking devices like sensor and control networks. The target of Zigbee technology is low cost, low power, battery operated wireless sensors that do not need to constantly update its status and also allow sleep mode or slow power mode for its electronics and radio. Zigbee technology is based on IEEE 802.15.4 standard, and the Zigbee devices operate in the unlicensed 2.4 GHz ISM band, industrial, scientific, and medical. Although 2.4 GHz band is commonly used worldwide for the commercial Zigbee devices, there are devices that use different set of frequencies bands like 784 MHz, 868 MHz, and 91 MHz in the China, Europe, and US. The data rates in the Zigbee technology are dependent on the frequency band. For example, the 864 MHz band supports data rate transfers of 20 kbps, while the more common 2.4 GHz band supports data rates up to 250 kbps. Before digging deep into the Zigbee technology, let us take a look at the two applications where Zigbee can be used. One application is the in-home patient monitoring, where patient wear Zigbee device which periodically collects the information like blood pressure and heart rate. The data is then wirelessly transmitted to a local server in the patient's home like a PC. So it is like a wristband which collects information from the body and sent to the doctor. The local server performs basic analysis and the vital information is sent to the doctor or the internet. Another application of Zigbee is the building structures health monitoring. This application is very useful in earthquake prone areas. Several Zigbee based wireless sensors like accelerometers are installed, while low data rates in the Zigbee. And other wireless technology like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are aiming to provide high-speed data rates. Why the data rates are low in Zigbee standard? The answer is very simple. The intention behind the development of Zigbee technology is to use it in the wireless monitor and the control. The amount of information and the frequency of communication in such application is very less. So even though it is possible for IEEE 802.15.4 network to achieve higher data rates, the Zigbee technology, which is based on IEEE 802.15.4, is not designed to do so. So it is used for low data rates. Here are some architecture which contains physical layer, medium access layer, network layer, application pairwork, Zigbee device 0, and security provider. So communication happens at the physical layer, so which contains 802.15.4. It also contains network layer, network elements. So medium access layer is top of that, the network layer, applications. The physical layer and the MAC medium access layers are defined by the IEEE 802.15.4 standard. On this foundation, the GPI lines provide the network layer and the framework for the application support APS. The Zigbee device object ZDO and the application objects for the manufacturers are all part of the application framework, which is under control of Zigbee Alliance. The bottom three layers, the physical, data link, and network layers, are present in the Zigbee stack in the form of PHY, MAC, and the NW. So ZDO. The last four layers, that is transport, session, presentation, and the application layer, are converted into the application support sublayer and Zigbee device object. Between the layers of the Zigbee stack, there are service access points which isolate the working of layer from the layer above and below it physically. As mentioned earlier, the lowest two layers that the physical and the MAC are defined by the IEEE 802.15 purpose specification. The physical layer is closest to the hardware and it is directly controls and communicates with the Zigbee radio. The physical layer translates the data packets into over-the-air bits for the transmission, vice versa during the reception. So MAC are defined by 802.15.4 specification, and the physical layer translate data packets into over-the-rate. The MAC layer. The MAC layer is responsible for interface between physical layer and the network layer. The MAC layer is also responsible for providing PAN ID and also network discovery through beacon request. Network layer. The network layer acts as an interface between the MAC layer and the application layer. It is also responsible for mesh networking, that network formatting and routing. In addition to the BOTAS NWK, that network layer provides security to the Zigbee network. That is, the entire data in the NWK frame is encrypted. Application layer. The application layer in the Zigbee stack is the highest protocol layer and it contains application support, APS sublayer, and Zigbee device object. It contains the manufacturer-defined applications. The APS sublayer is responsible for discovering and binding services. So Jero, thank you. This is about the Zigbee technology. The second point is non-repetition and availability. Non-repetition is the assurance that someone cannot deny something. Typically, non-repetition refers to the ability to ensure that party to contract or communication cannot deny the authenticity of their signature on a document or sending of the message that they are originated. To repeat it means to deny. For many years, authorities have sought to make repetition impossible in some situations. You might send a registered mail, for example, so that a recipient cannot deny that a letter was delivered. Similarly, a legal document typically requires witnesses to signing so that the person who signs cannot deny having done so. On the internet, digital signature is used not only to ensure that message or document has been electronically signed by the person that proposed to sign the document, but also since a digital signature can only be created by one person to ensure that person cannot later deny that they furnished the signature. Since no security changes, security technology is absolutely foolproof. Some experts warn that digital signature alone may not always guarantee non-repetition. It is suggested that multiple approaches be used, such as capturing unique biometric information and other data about the sender or signer that collectively would be difficult to replicate. Availability. Availability means information refers to ensuring that the authorized parties are able to access the information when needed. Information only has value if the right people can access it at the right times. Denying access to the information has become a very common attack nowadays. Almost every week, you can find news about high profile websites being taken by the DDoS attacks. The primary of DDoS attacks is to deny users of the website access to the resources of the website. Such downtime can be very costly. Other factors that could lead to the lack of availability to important information may include incidents such as power outages or natural disasters such as floods. How does one ensure data availability? Backup is key. Regularly doing offsite backups can limit the damage caused by the damage to hard drives or natural disaster. For information servicing that is highly critical, redundancy might be appropriate. Having upside location ready to restore services in case anything happens to your primary data centers will heavily reduce the downtime in the case of anything happen. Confidentiality. When we talk about confidentiality of information, we are talking about the protecting the information from disclosure to unauthorized parties. Information has value, especially in today's world. Bank account statement, personal information, credit card members, trade secret, government documents. Everyone has information they wish to keep a secret. Protecting such information is a very major part of the information security. A very key component of protecting information confidentiality would be encryption. Encryption ensures that only the right people who know the key can read the information. Encryption is very widespread in today's environment and can be found in almost every major protocol in use. A very prominent example will be SSL-TLS, a secret protocol for communication over the internet that has been used in conjunction with large number of internet protocols to ensure security. Integrity. Integrity of information refers to the protecting information from being modified by unauthorized parties. Information only has value if it is correct. Information that has been tampered with could prove costly. For example, if you were sending an online money transfer for $100, but the information was tampered in such a way that you actually sent $10,000, it could prove to be very costly for you. As with data confidentiality, cryptography plays a very major role in ensuring data integrity. Commonly used methods to protect data integrity includes hashing the data you receive and comparing it with the hash of the original message. However, this means that the hash of original data must be provided to you in a secure fashion. More convenient methods would be to use existing schemes such as CPG to digitally sign the data. Thank you. This is about the non-repetition attack. Next point about Internet of Things security vulnerabilities. Insecure web interface. Many of these devices have built-in web server that hosts web app for managing the devices. Like any web server app, there may be flaws in the code that allow the device to be attacked. All these are connected devices. Weakness can be exploited remotely. Insufficient, sorry, Ineffective authentication authorization. While there are often weaknesses in the implementation of the authentication authorization mechanism, bigger problem is not making use of features that are provided. With consumer devices, convenience always trumps security. Until it's too late, how many Amazon reviews complain that a device had weak security? Yet too complicated, and I know a lot about computers. It is a common refrain from first brigade. Many devices are able to operate with their default settings, but if you had to configure security before using it, this would be seen as friction. You get security you deserve. Insecure network services. IoT devices may have services for diagnostics and testing. They may even have debugging services. If these are open, insecure, or vulnerable ports, they are potentially security holes. Such maintenance If these are open, insecure, or vulnerable ports, they are potential security holes. Such maintenance services have probably been likely tested so are more likely to have exploited code behind them. There is commercial pressure to expose more and more features and capabilities. Personally, I am always attracted to the device with a richer API. However, more features means more things that might contain flaws. Lack of transfer encryption. If your device is handling private information or the insecure protocol, anyone could be reading it. And it's not always obvious to people what information IoT device might be sharing. Privacy concerns. I read an article this week about a man who found his partner was having affair. He discovered this because her daughter's iPad was configured to share information with the family. If information on the device is not encrypted, erased, and people have access to the device, your personal information is at risk. I drink way too many cups of tea. Don't want that getting out because of a leaky kettle. And secure cloud interface. Many IT devices connect to the cloud. If they have cloud management interfaces, this represents another potential security weakness. An on-device management interface is harder for a remote attacker to access it behind the home router. However, it's also less likely to be purchased than a cloud management interface. Insecure mobile interface. Everyone wants to use their mobile phones for everything these days. Many IT devices have mobile interface, and IT devices are often consumer home products. This makes sense when home computers are becoming less and less necessary. However, another management interface is another breach waiting to happen. Building secure software is hard. Insufficient security features. Even if you know what you are doing, your IT device may not provide features to help you secure them. I have had services before that constrains me to use a PIN for security. I am able to choose encryption options. Can I create and access logs to monitor attacks? Probably not. Advanced configuration options in highly technical areas are source of support cost. Undetected theft of data. Not so smooth. Insecure software firmware. Can the device be patched to address discovered vulnerabilities? How do I know I need a patch? Is installing it scary and might break the device? How do I know the patch is valid and not injected by a malicious agent to add my device to their botnet? Can I reset my device? 10. Erasing all personal information. This isn't on the OSAP list but seems crucial to me. IT devices that have been replaced by newer model or found not to be visible as the buyer thought are going to end up web. So you can take device that contains who knows what about you and send it to stranger. All IT devices media prepare for reset option, not just a reset factory setting option. Who knows if that does what you need it to do. Now we need a clear and explicit prepare for sale option. Thank you. This was about the Internet of Things and security vulnerabilities. So we should take care about security issues. Thank you. Next point, difference between BACnet and Modbus. BACnet is a network protocol specifically used for multiple devices to communicate across building automation systems. Used for multiple devices to communicate across building automation systems by system users and building system manufacturers. BACnet is an American national standard, a European standard, a national standard in more than 30 countries, and an ISO global standard. Modbus. Modbus is a network protocol best used for industrial automation systems, specifically for connecting electronic equipment. Although Modbus is best for industrial applications, its simplicity allows it to be a useful tool for building automation as well. Here we see the BACnet model developed by SRA, Modbus developed by Medicon. Use BACnet will be used for communication across devices. Modbus connection between devices. Markets. BACnet will be used for industrial, transportation, energy management, building automation, regularity in health and safety. Modbus used for HVAC, lighting, life safety, access controls, transportation, and maintenance. Example of BACnet: boiler control, tank control, measurements. Modbus example are tasks such as request temperature, readings, send status, alarm, or fan schedule. Prosperity: BACnet no, Modbus no. Transmission modes: Ethernet, IP, MSTP, GP, ASCII, RTU, TCP. Standards: ANSI standards in Modbus IEC 61158. Cost: BACnet was low cost, no charge for usage for licensing fees. Modbus, no charge for usage for licensing fees. Network interfaces: existing LAN, and here Sierra Ethernet protocols. Scalability between cost and performance: system size. In BACnet, Modbus, easy connection to medical. Advantages: endorsement and adaptation by nearly every major vendor in North America and many other countries. Suitable for small medium volumes. Robust internetworking including multiple LAN taps and openly published and reality proof. Unrestricted growth at ability, any innovations and new features in easy to deploy and maintain. Thank you. This is about the difference between BACnet and Modbus protocol. It's very important. Thank you. Thank you so much.